Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leanna, this is Paul, and this is Fernando. It happened just 5 seconds ago as well, so you have a little tail once in a while. We're talking about eBay today. You guys did give me a list of questions for Paul, who is my eBay knowledgeable person. I wasn't going to say expert because he would have been like rolling his eyes at me, but he is the one that deals with eBay in our business, so he is the best one for me to ask the questions to. Remember when Fernando was like really little, guys? Yeah, he's not so little anymore. So first and foremost, hi Paul.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. How long have we been selling on eBay? I'm going to say we and us, but please know that it is him and him, not necessarily me. How long have we been selling on eBay?
Just a little over 7 years.
7 years. Cool. I would say that eBay is our #1 platform. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Yes. Once in a blue moon, the Poshmarks would have gotten close, but not anymore. That's okay. eBay is our #1 platform. We do have a store subscription on eBay. It's not how we started, but do you want to tell them our sort of progress in the 7 years for getting our store?
Yeah, well, we were buying a bunch of stuff because we wanted to do flea markets. That didn't pan out where we were living. The major one closed up. We thought, okay, how are we going to get rid of this stuff? And so, let's throw some of it on the eBay. So I'd already had an eBay account previously. Sold a couple of little things. Then we started, okay, we're going to get serious. We started off with the starter store, quickly ran into the number of listing problem, and we just went straight to the premium store from there.
So the premium store, which gives us 10,000 new listings, 10,000 listings a month and 500 auctions, costs $59.95 Canadian per month. But that's 10,000 listings on .ca and on .com, correct?
Right.
Which is a lot. We do not have room for 10,000 listings, just so you know. Right now, our eBay active listings are at 2,683 is what I think I looked at. Yes, which is not bad. And yeah, some of them are cross-listed from Poshmark, but not all of them, so that's not bad. Okay, so with our store, with our eBay business, how often and how many do you list on average?
I try to list 5 a day at least. Sometimes I don't achieve that. Sometimes it's nothing because of circumstance. Other times it's 10 or 12. So, but on average, I try to list five per day.
At least,
which
yeah.
is not a lot for a lot of people, and for some people it might be, holy crap, how can you do that many? But we have space limitations. We have limitations on how we can source and what we can source. So
But really, it has more to do with that we have space limitations for inventory, and energy limitations to actually do it. So like for us to be able to list 20 a day, that is 140 a week, and we just don't have that volume,
right.
And we don't have the space for it.
Right.
It's very important when you hear about, that question about how many do you list to be successful, to get sales. You know what, it's going to change from person to person, from business to business. Warehouses list a lot more, they sell a lot more. Individual sellers who only do it part-time maybe list the same, or they list less. You have to figure that one out for yourself. Consistency is key, so if you can list every single day, it does help, I believe.
Oh, definitely. The whole mysterious eBay algorithm isn't about specific things, I believe, at least. I think it's just about consistency and actually doing stuff on the platform.
Yeah.
I don't think you even necessarily have to. A lot of people will say this, you don't have to list every day. Other people say, well, if you don't list every day, you're not going to sell anything, and I don't think either one is true.
I think consistency is what you make it. So if you list every weekend, and every weekend, and every weekend, that's still consistency.
Yeah.
If you list every other day, that's still a consistency. It's about making sure you're listing relatively all the time.
Yeah. Everyone needs to find their sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. So you get the next question that you guys asked us was, what items sell well for you on eBay? This is a hard question because we all know as seasoned sellers that what sells for me or for Paul may not sell for you, may not sell for whoever, and what sells for you may not sell for us. So it is a hard question to answer, but I'm going to ask Paul, what do you think your best-selling sort of item or genre or area are?
Okay, so
eBay.
so two things. One is books.
Books.
I love books. I've always loved books. I have an eye for books. They tend to be slower selling, but that depends. Like I had some books today that I listed that I picked up yesterday. I listed them today, and they sold within an hour. Not for a ton of money, like $28 or something Canadian, but I picked them up for $5 Canadian. It took me 10 minutes, top to bottom, to list it.
Yeah, because books are fairly easy.
They sold fast. You know, books they're easy to store. You just throw them on a bookshelf. They're fairly easy to list. The other thing I like is especially industrial parts and small bits and bobs of machinery and things like generators and lawnmowers and power tools and things like that. And a lot of times I find stuff like that in the bins. They're just lying there that everybody else has scrambled through. I've sold parts for a power tool that everybody else looked at. I grabbed it for $2 or $3, sold it for $140.
So it really depends on what you have access to, what you know, because that is important too. But you also have to check what your comps are, and you have to check your sell-through rate.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, being heavily on Poshmark, a lot of my clothing will not sell for the same amount on eBay. So like let's say Torrid, because Torrid's one of my, I'm not going to say favorite, it is one of my top selling brands. It sells for, say, $25 on Poshmark. It's only selling for $10 on eBay. So it's not really worth it for me. I'm not getting the profit I need. So you need to check your comps and your sell-through rates. To do that, on eBay, it's very simple. I know on the app, I know you go into the search bar, you type in the item, whatever item you have around your house, in a thrift store, whatever one you want to check out. You type it in first, just like any other platform, and a whole bunch of results come up. Do take a look to see how many of those items there are, but I think on eBay it tells you how many are listed.
Yeah.
Which is good, so you know that number. Then you're going to scroll down. It's on the left-hand side.
On the website.
On the website to sold. On the app, you have to go to the filter and scroll, and I think you even have to see more, and you'll go to the sold items, which also includes completed.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference, and we're not going to get into it. And then the screen will pop up and have the sold items. So you want to compare what's available to what has sold, and you want to look at what price they sold at. But what about the prices on eBay with the sold listings? What's the...
When you look the way Leanna said, those solds might not actually be solds, and the prices they show might not actually be the prices they actually sold for. They are the completed, and this is where the completed comes in. Those sold include the completed, and that completed could include sales that got canceled, or sales that had a best offer accepted on it. Usually there's a line through the price. If you ever see a line through the price in a sold listing, that means there was a best offer accepted, and the price accepted was lower than that price.
Right.
There's another thing on eBay which we'll probably do a small video on, called
the advanced search?
Not the advanced search, the product research tool.
Product research.
It used to be called TerraPeak on eBay. Now it's the product research tool, and that has much better data, much better numbers, has proper numbers.
Yeah, we'll do a small, little short video on that later.
But that search will also show you how many sold. So if you've got, let's just go this Nivea thing, and you search that, and you see there's 10,000 listings, and then you click onto the solds, and you see one sold. Well, that means out of 10,000 people who have it listed, one person sold it.
Put my computer chapstick down.
That's not a good sell-through rate.
No.
However, if you see 10 listed, but 1,000 sold, well, you know that's going to be a really good sell-through rate, because 1,000 sold, there's 10 listed. That means if you list one, you got a good chance of it selling quickly.
Right. And it's really important to learn those numbers, to learn to practice it, because they change all the time. It is a good rule of thumb to check that. Even I still check it. Even Paul still checks it. We're getting better and better at leaving things behind that don't have great sell-through rate, and that's really good for the business. So it is important to check them. And you know what? I would be checking all the time on random things throughout the house. If you're out shopping, just, I'm going to check this on eBay just to get in the practice and just to learn different things. Because eventually it'll become second nature and you'll just learn. So it's a really good thing. So now the big thing we're going to talk about, the thing that frustrates everybody and overwhelms everybody and that everybody asked about is shipping. That's what we're going to really focus on right now. A couple of things I want to say before I let Paul, I was going to say teach us all, but yeah, teach us all. Before you buy something or before you list something, you want to have a fairly general idea of how you're going to ship it in the sense of packaging. We have both seen on numerous Facebook groups where someone says, hey, I sold this listing of a car engine. I think that's the example you used earlier. How do I ship it? You want to have a good idea before you list it so you're not panicked and worried about shipping it after the fact. And you want to make sure that way you know how much you're going to charge for shipping. The other thing is, when you're talking about weights and measurements, we're talking about the package. So the item after it's been packaged up the way you want to ship it. That's the weight and the measurements that you need for your shipping prices, correct?
Correct, and always confirm your measurements. If you're using a box and the box says, say it's 8 by 8 by 8, those measurements are generally the internal measurements of the box and the externals are actually larger. So if you just punch in 8 by 8 by 8, it might get to the post office and they go, no, that's 9 by 9 by 9, and charge you extra money. A lot of people get caught by this.
So always measure it.
Always measure.
Always measure it after you've packed everything. Oh, Paul's moving me around. Okay. So now we're going to talk about free shipping, flat rate shipping, and calculated shipping, and the eBay calculator. So we're going to start with the easy one, free shipping.
If you're a new seller, don't do it.
Yeah.
Simple.
If you're new,
don't do
it.
Because why? Because unless you had a job where you know how to ship and you know how to pack and you already have experience and all that, that's obviously a different thing. If you are new at it, you don't know what you're doing. That's honest, harsh maybe, but you don't know what you're doing yet. And there's no need to be under that pressure to, because everyone has to have free shipping, otherwise you're not going to sell anything. That's a load of garbage, because people will pay for it if they want it. If you've already got it priced right, not everybody filters out free shipping when they're searching for items. That's a myth. I know, because I sell a lot of stuff and I don't have a single thing on free shipping.
Yeah.
So free shipping can be very, very dangerous until you know what you're doing. So stay away from that at first.
It's also not free.
Yes.
I know that sounds like it should be self-explanatory, but it is not free shipping for the seller. The seller still has to pay for the shipping label. In help groups, I've seen people say, oh, I had this typewriter listed with free shipping, but I had to buy a label from eBay. What's going on? I thought the buyer was paying for the shipping. It's like, well, yeah, the buyer pays the seller pays eBay or Canada Post or UPS or wherever it is to buy the shipping label. It's not free shipping. It's not free. Free shipping always costs the seller money because they have to buy the label. On eBay, yes, Poshmark takes care of the shipping. So not if it's free shipping on Poshmark either. No, but the point is the seller's still not buying the label directly. They're paying their fee through Poshmark to buy the label. Okay, but if as a seller on Poshmark, if I offer free shipping, I'm paying that shipping. Yeah, because it's coming out of your funds. Yes. So anyway, don't worry. We get babbling. we'll go back and forth. Okay, but so that's free shipping. Next, we're going to go to calculated shipping. So calculated, because that's sort of the basic step that newer sellers are probably better off using. Newer sellers, again, unless you already have experience, calculated shipping is the way to go, because you don't have to think about anything. The only thing you have to do is make sure you put in the correct dimension and the correct weight for the item, and you choose a shipping carrier or a shipping service. So you could do just one. You could just do Canada Post Expedited, or you can do Canada Post Expedited Overnight, or whatever shipping service there is. And when the buyer chooses whichever one they choose, because they can only choose what the seller chooses to give them. Right. The choice that seller allows.
the buyer can never choose something the seller did not allow. So the buyer can't say, "Oh no, I chose UPS priority overnight." Well, they can't unless the seller allowed that option.
So as the seller, you get to choose the carrier and the type of postage that is available to the buyer.
Right. And
Right.
And you never have to worry about how much it's going to cost, because the system calculates the cost based on the information you input, and then when you go to buy the label, you're using the same amount, so you're basically paying what you charge the seller, what the seller gets charged. Now, with eBay, we get discounted shipping if we buy the labels through eBay. I don't know about Canada because I don't use it, but in the USA, they've automatically applied that discount to the buyer. It used to be, it was only given to the buyer if the seller chose to give that eBay discount to the buyer. So you have to be really careful there, because if the buyer is paying the discounted price, you're paying the same amount, and now you're going to be paying the final value fee on that shipping cost to the buyer.
It's so complicated.
It is.
It shouldn't be complicated, and it's only complicated because there's ways that you can make a mistake, and you know what? Mistakes are going to happen. They will happen because you're new at something, and it's okay as long as it's not okay. You only charge the buyer $1 for shipping, and it's going to cost you $400 to ship it. You got to protect yourself some ways, but
my sort of point really is, if you're choosing the calculated shipping, you're not going to lose much money if you lose anything at all.
No, because it's calculated from where you are to where the buyer is.
If you've done it properly, you're never going to pay more than what the buyer paid.
So you have to know your weight and your measurements, and it's the measurements outside of the box and after packaging. Put that in correctly, you're good to go. Right? The next one is flat rate shipping is something that we use predominantly, correct?
Right.
It makes it much easier for me. I have a general idea how much things are going to measure and weigh, so I just have to go down in my shipping policies, which Paul has set up, which we're not really going to talk about today about setting that up. Paul has promised me that he will do a small video and show you how to set up a shipping policy. I don't know how to do it. I have no idea. But we're going to talk about, now we're going to have Finn. Now we have the gray one. Okay. Sorry. So flat rate shipping. We like this because it's just much easier for us as sellers to figure out profits and stuff. I'm so distracted by cats and phones. Oh my God, people.
So we sell
hang on. Okay.
a great variety of items, but in general, most of them fall within certain sizes and weights. Right. So I sell a lot of books. Books come in different sizes, but overall they're X to Y size. So most of them weigh under 2 pounds. So it's easy for me to say, okay, I'm going to charge $8 or whatever it is for the shipping on a book or a DVD or a game.
Right, but how did we figure out the flat rate system? Is we use the eBay shipping calculator.
That's one way to do it. If again, you can find this on eBay Help. Just type in shipping calculator, and eventually a link will pop up for their shipping calculator. And all you do is you punch in the numbers, punch in the dimensions, the weights. You put in your postal code. You put in the destination postal code. You hit calculate, and it shows you here are the options, the different options, and how much it costs for each option. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I calculate from a location close to me, and then a location really far away from me, say from Nunavut or something, or Nova Scotia, and maybe I'll do a middling one where it's halfway between them, and I'll take those numbers and I'll sort of look at those 3 numbers or 2 numbers, and I'll figure out, all right, this is what I want to charge for my flat rate.
An average, right?
I sort of take an average. So sometimes I build a part of it into the price of the item as well, and we sell enough that overall we make a little bit of money on the shipping, what we pay and what we get paid by the buyer. But part of that profit also pays for the shipping items, like the envelopes and the boxes and the bubble wrap and all that kind of stuff. So it's okay to make over time money on the shipping, because that is paying, at least for me, for my shipping materials.
Yeah.
And my time, because my time's valuable.
Yeah.
My time's important to me.
Yeah, I had to pay him $10 to do this video.
Yeah. She promised 100.
I did not. I promised him dinner. Not really.
Which I gotta cook.
Oh, we're gonna start that again, aren't we? Anyway. Flat rate shipping. Don't worry too much about losing money on the shipping. You want to charge enough that you're not going to lose,
right.
But you might maybe lose a little bit on one item if it happens to go really, really far away. But you're going to make that money up on something that doesn't go so far. So really and truly, it's not necessarily each individual item. You want to sort of base it on your monthly bottom line or your quarterly or whatever it is you do with your business. Because we have found, since using flat rate shipping, for the most part, we either break even with shipping or we're above. We make money.
Well, part of the trick is not to look at each individual sale.
Yeah.
If I look at an item and I ship this, like, ooh, geez, I way underestimated that, and it cost me $5 more. Well, the two previous ones, maybe I made $1 or 50 cents or something more. So I look at my overall costs over a period of time.
Yeah.
And I keep a tally, a daily tally, and every month we make a little bit of money on the shipping. If we spend $1,000 on the shipping, maybe we made $100 on it.
Right.
And that generally pays for, like I said, the incidentals.
Yeah. So, and I can't stress this enough, because eBay is very overwhelming, especially if you're not used to shipping things. You're going to make mistakes, but chances are it's going to work out in the rain, and it'll be fine at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter. I think calculated shipping is a really good way to learn to begin with, because that way you really do get to learn what things weigh and measure. And if you are someone who sells a lot of similar things, say you're a jean seller, then you're going to have a really good idea of what jeans weigh and what packages you use. And it's very easy to input that into the eBay calculator and figure out a flat rate that's going to end up making you money, or at least breaking even. You're not going to lose money.
Yeah. So basically, I have a bunch of shipping policies which go by mostly weight. So 1 to 15 ounce, 15 ounce to 2 pounds, 2 pounds to 3 pounds, 4 pounds to 5 pounds, and then up to a certain size. So everything we sell, like, we're not shipping big, huge things.
No.
Everything we ship usually fits in something like a 20 by 10 by 6 inch box or something like that. So as long as you're staying under that cubic rate, like with the USPS it's 12 by 12 by 12. Canada Post, I believe it's 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. If you stay at or under those numbers, usually the pricing is fairly consistent and much easier to calculate and figure out a flat rate.
Right. So with the eBay calculator, I am going to do a short video. I am going to show you how to use it as somebody that's never used it before. Because I think that's much easier. It's going to show you better than somebody who is very used to using it. So I'm going to make a fool out of myself and fuddle through it. But that will be uploaded in the next day or two. Paul is going to do a video on getting shipping policies set up. He's promised me that. I had to promise him another $10. That's okay. I don't know why I'm putting $10. I have no idea.
And to be fair, they do have a bit of a learning curve.
Okay, but we're not going to focus. Okay, this is the problem with eBay. People get so focused on those little tiny details, it becomes really overwhelming. When you go to your eBay stores or you go to your eBay listings, what I would do, if you are a seller on another platform, if you sell on Poshmark, start weighing and measuring the packages that you send out. And you know what? Keep some of those addresses to actually use in the shipping calculator to see what those would have cost via eBay or whatever. Start keeping note of weights and measures of certain items, especially if you only sell certain items, and start plugging them into Canada Post, start plugging them into USPS. Figure out, know your postal code, your address. Find addresses all over, North America. Use a library in Los Angeles. Use a library in Vancouver. Take some sort of public address and plug that into the whatever you're using to figure out how much this 1 pound package that measures whatever, how much is that going to cost me to ship? And just keep a running tab on that and learn, because the more you use these things, the more comfortable you're going to be using them. But I think for this video, we're trying to keep it simple, and it's really, really hard to do because there's so many different things to think of. I think if you are starting out on eBay, start small, and I mean maybe even with small packages or small items, but don't list 1,000 items and not know how to ship them. Figure it out one by one. It's going to take time. It's going to take work. And you know what? Maybe you'll make a small mistake here and there, but eventually you're going to start on day 1, but eventually you're going to be on day 30, and you're going to look back and go, oh, okay, I got this. I figured this out. Let me learn the next thing. Let me see the next thing, because it's going to give you confidence. And it's really important to build that confidence. You have to start. And if you start with a little bit of knowledge behind you, a little bit of practice, then you're going to be better off, I think. Because I know Paul's been doing this for over 7 years, because even before we really started selling, he sold once in a while on eBay. So he's been doing this for a long time. So for him to sort of explain something to you is one thing, but if you're brand new, like if I had to set up my shipping on eBay, I'd be in your boat too, because I wouldn't have a clue, and I would hope that I could at least, start on day 1, start on listing 1, and figure it out and go from there. Yeah. Don't worry about making a mistake, as long as it's not going to cost you a ton of money.
and I had a bit of advantage because in my previous real life jobs, I was involved in doing some of the shipping and some of the packing and receiving packages and sending packages out, so I had a little bit of experience already. But when I started selling on eBay, I still found it a little bit overwhelming, just because of the different choices. Like when I worked for a company, we just had UPS and that was it. We didn't bother with Canada Post. We had an account with UPS, and I just punched in the numbers on UPS and that was it. But that still gave me sort of an idea of how the process all works.
Yeah.
And if you've never done it before, it's understandable. It can be overwhelming. One of the best things might be to do, especially if you're a clothing seller, is clothing is a lot easier because there's minimal, like if you're selling t-shirts are going to be pretty much, they're going to select into a poly mail or
8 ounces and something like that.
A t-shirt, men or women's, they're going to be under a pound. There's only going to be baseball hats are all going to be a certain size and a certain weight. They're not going to be, there's not unless it's made of steel, there's not a baseball hat that weighs more than 12 ounces fully packaged. So you can easily figure those things out. If you start off with things where there's consistency, you might find it easier. So if you're a jeans seller, if you got lots of jeans, get all the jeans listed first, as an example, and start playing around with those numbers.
Yeah.
But using the eBay shipping calculator, whether it's on .ca or the American one on .com, can really, really teach you a lot about how the shipping costs work for the different carriers.
Okay. I will get that. I will do one for .com and I will do one for .ca as well, in case you're a Canadian that only wants to sell on .ca, which is perfectly fine and feasible for you to do. So I will do both. They will be up in a couple of days. This video, it is Wednesday right now. I have to edit it, so it might be up tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow, Thursday, this will be up. You're not going to know that because it's going to come up when it comes up, and you're going to listen to me talking going, Leanna, I already know what day it is. What are you talking about? But you know what? It's the way it is. It'll be up soon, I promise. Whatever. Anyway, that's it, I think. If you have any more questions, because I know we didn't answer everything, and I know there's much more detail and minutia to it, but if you do have any other questions, absolutely ask me in the comments. Paul hopefully will answer. If he does, his name is Horad on YouTube, just so you know. If there's random guys answering your question, it is Paul, okay? But that is it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Thank you, honey.
Welcome.
I'll give you your money later.
Okay.
Bye, guys.